Hi guys, so this next kit that I'm going to be doing isn't a fresh walk kit, it's a cider kit from Festival. It's the oaked apple cider kit. It comes with an ABV of 7.2%. I'm doing this kit because I've seen a couple of reviews of this kit and they've said it's good, but I haven't seen one where they've aged it. So I'm actually filming this part of the video in December, and I'm going to be testing the kit in probably June, July. So I'll be able to give a review of what it tastes like once it's aged. Now, I don't drink a huge amount of cider, but in the summer I tend to pick up a box of Scrumpy, and as I haven't done a cider kit before, I'm not going to be comparing it to other cider kits. It's going to be more comparing it to that to see how it compares. So I'll give it a whirl and I'll let you know what it's like. So although I'm going to be doing the fermentation in the Firmzilla to reduce the risk of oxidisation, I thought I'd mix the ingredients in this fermentation buckets and then transfer it over. So I've added the dried fruit and the 2 bags of dextrose into the fermentation bucket with 4 litres of boiling water. I've given it a stir and I've got to wait for the temperature to reduce down below 55 degrees before adding the cider enzyme. So I let the temperature drop down to 55 degrees so I could add the cider enzyme. So I added that and then I had to leave it for a couple of hours. Then following that, I added everything out of the fermentation bucket into the Firmzilla. I topped it up to 22 litres. Then I added the yeast and I added the sweetener that comes with the kit. I then purged the top of the Firmzilla with CO2 to get rid of all the oxygen. I've set the spunding valve at 8 psi because this isn't a high pressure ferment, it's just really just to reduce the risk of oxidation. I'm going to set the temperature at 20 degrees and see how it ferments. As you can see from the profile recorded on the wrap pill, the fermentation took roughly 10 days to complete. Then I did leave it for a further 3 days before moving on to cold crash. As you can see, the ABV ended up higher than stated on the box, so it ended up at an ABV of 8.52%. So I set the temperature on the wrap pill to 1 degree to cold crash, where I've left it for 3 days. And as you can see, all the fruit that was set at the top and hopefully all the wood that was in the cider and any other sediment has dropped to the bottom, leaving a nice clear cider for packaging. Now for packaging, I've purchased a 20 litre Oxybar, which is a cheaper alternative to using a corny keg. And as I'm only using this system for aging a couple of times a year, I thought it was a better option. So I've got the cider being pushed from the Firmzilla into the Oxybar, which has already been purged with CO2 to get rid of the oxygen. I've added the priming sugar and I've also added the apple flavouring prior to packaging. On the outpost, I've got a geotype from Kegland which automatically switches off when the keg is full, but then it also allows me to connect it through to the spunding valve so I can keep the pressure in the keg so the natural carbonisation that's happened to the cider while it's been in the Firmzilla isn't lost. So following packaging, I put the Oxybar back into the fermentation chamber where I'm going to set the temperature at 20 degrees and leave it for the first couple of weeks of conditioning. As I'm aware, there's a lot of priming sugar in the Oxybar. I've attached a spunding valve. I've set this at 15 psi so it keeps most of the carbonation in, but then lets some of it out. So it will end up being not a completely sparkling cider, but somewhere in between a scrumpy and a sparkling cider. So I did manage to leave the keg for 6 months to age it. So I'm now in June, well, the end of June, nearly July. So it's ready to serve now. So I'll tip one out. Decided to put it onto the hand pump. And I've got it connected to beer gas because I didn't want it to be overly carbonated. As I said, I wanted to aim for something that's a little more, somewhere between a sparkling cider and a scrumpy. So, colour-wise, it's crystal clear. Obviously, with that 6-month aging, it's completely cleared. It looks slightly carbonated, not too much. Really good cider colour. It's a beautiful colour, actually. On the nose, it smells like a real good scrumpy cider. So it's the first one that I've done, but yeah, if you smelt that, you wouldn't think it was a kit. You'd think it was
a proper scrumpy cider. So I'll give it a taste. That is really, really good. I'd say it's a medium cider. Well, somewhere in between, slightly sweet to medium cider, which is the style of cider I prefer. It's got a real depth. It's got a slight, could almost be like a white wine kind of flavour. And yeah, for me, cider, I mean, each their own, but I do prefer my ciders. I think I said at the start of the video, I tend to pick up a box of Scrumpy in the summer, which is obviously, a flat cider, and that's just like that. It is really good. The only slight downside is I wish that I'd saved one when I was putting the cider into the oxybar, just so I could have a taste comparison, see if it does improve over them 6 months. But I'm sure it does. I have done wines before as well, and this style, so a cider or a wine, I expected would improve with age, and that is really, really good, and it's well worth doing. Cider is not something I tend to drink until the summer, so for me, it's fine to make this. Probably going to do this each year now. So make a cider at Christmas, ready to have it this time of year. Sat in the garden, the sun's out, a glass of that, perfect. Now it's a really, really good cider. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this cider. I haven't tried any other cider kits. I may try a different one next year, but this one is really good. I mean, Festival do great beer kits. I've been impressed with pretty much all the beer kits that they do. So I went for the cider kit just on the hope that it would be good, and this is a really, really good cider. So yeah, really good. I definitely highly recommend. I hope you join us for the next one.